I grew up a Sega Genesis kid. It wasn't until later in life that I got myself a Super Nintendo. Actually, Will bought it for me for my birthday like 3 years ago. People who grew up with a Sega Genesis catch a lot of flack for missing out on some of the best games like Mega Man X, Super Mario World, and A Link to the Past, but I've done my fair share of backtracking. Mega Man X is one of my favorite games of the time. Super Mario World is amazing, but still not as good as my go-to Super Mario 1. And A Link to the Past is awesome. I'm playing through it right now on Twitch for the first time ever, and I really, really like it. And I don't even like any other Zelda games. So I'm giving all of these games that I missed out on a chance. And if you grew up with a Super Nintendo and not a Sega Genesis, I think you owe it to yourself to give all of these games a chance. I'm going to try to limit this list because I know that I'm going to miss some. But we'll start off with the obvious Sonic the Hedgehog. Not the first one. Skip right over that one. Sonic 2, 3, and Knuckles are the best. But if you have to pick one, Sonic 3 is the all-time best. Made even better, plug into the Sonic and Knuckles expansion for some added levels. In my opinion, Sonic 3 is the best that the system has to offer. It's touted as this fast action game, but it's really not. It's just a good, innovative platformer with beautiful visuals. Not to mention one of the best soundtracks of all time, written by Michael Jackson, which was a huge debate for a while. That's a whole another story, but it's confirmed now that it's been written by Michael Jackson and his writer buddy. Sonic games have huge levels with multiple paths. That means you can get a different experience each time you play a level. And you'll want to search for all the big rings to get the bonus levels, to get Super Sonic. It's one of the most rewarding unlockables in any video game. And no, it's not OP. There's still strategy involved, and you can't beat the final boss with Super Sonic unless you're quick and plan way ahead. Gunstar Heroes is a Contra-esque shooter with a million things going on at once. The gameplay is super fast. You've got all these elements you can combine to make your guns shoot cool ass shit. It's an arcade-style 2D shooter, so there's no real depth to the game. It's just good fun. Even if it's not your thing, it's a must-play. At least a must-try, and there's co-op, so play with your best bud. VECTORMAN is an amazing 3D platformer with beautiful 3D visuals. Wow! Look at all that 3D! Actually, it looks like it's probably fake 3D, but VECTORMAN's sprite is drawn really well, especially with the way the lighting's rendered in every time he shoots. The animations are solid, and the physics in this game are excellent. The audio is a testament to that great Yamaha sound chip the Sega Genesis had. Aside from the technical garbage, this game is just a great shooter. VECTORMAN's got that Iron Man repulsor blast thing going on, and there are power-ups to change the spray or trajectory. Since he's made out of these weird balls, he can also change shape. This totally changes the whole game during some of the boss battles. VECTORMAN is just a perfect example of the weird, technically advanced titles the Sega Genesis had. It came out in '95, and you could tell that this game is stuck in a weird transitionary period between the two console generations. What's even weirder is that there was a VECTORMAN 2 that came out the same year as the PlayStation 1. Weird! Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master, is right up there next to the Sonic games. A side-scrolling ninja game with this crazy art style, this future but also feudal Japan setting, and these weird-looking monster things. The main game mechanic is shooting these shurikens, so it's kind of like a shooter, but you also have this wild jump kick, this spray attack that wastes all of your shurikens, and these special abilities. When you get close to an enemy, he pulls his sword out of his ass so you don't use up a shuriken. Shinobi 3 is gorgeous. A lot of these games that I'm talking about are gorgeous, aren't they? The Sega Genesis was technically more advanced than the Super Nintendo. That doesn't mean that it had better games, it just means it was more technically advanced. Look at the PlayStation 3 versus the Xbox 360. Anyway, Shinobi 3 is gorgeous, the animations are gorgeous, the parallax between the foreground and background of all of the levels are gorgeous, everything's gorgeous. A huge variety of enemy types, and this level. You're a surf ninja on a jet engine surfboard thing. Like, come on! There's also Revenge of Shinobi, but it's a little bit stiffer. The animations aren't as smooth. It's blander. Bleh. What do you guys think about these Sega Genesis games? Do you have any must-play Sega Genesis games? Do you have any must-play Super Nintendo games for me? Leave it in the comments below, add me on Twitter, all this other social media garbage. Oh, let me say some honorable mentions. You got X-Men 2, The Clone Wars. That was a weird name. Strider. Rise Star. If you're an RPG person, Phantasy Star 4 is supposed to be one of the best RPGs. The only one of those I played was X-Men 2, and it's very good. But I wouldn't say it's a must-play compared to all these other games. And if you're wondering why the setting's all weird, it's because I'm in Atlantic City right now. And I'm filming this in the hotel room. And Vicky's here. Hi, Vicky. They can't see you wave. Don't forget new videos every single Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and every single Wednesday, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Wulff Den Live. Come hang out with us, talk to us, be part of the podcast. And don't forget to check out Twitch, where I'll be streaming some more Link to the Past. My first time playthrough. Yay. Thank you guys very much. Have a good week. I'm going to go gamble everything.
Sonic Adventure 1 was Sega's take on the 2D to 3D jump, and they were just a little bit late on that. Nintendo had Mario 64, Sony had Crash Bandicoot, and even Ubisoft had Rayman 2. Mario 64, while arguably the best of all of these games, still had really rough controls, mostly thanks to this abomination. Almost all of the weapons in the division are customizable with these mods you pick up throughout the game. You have weapon skins, optics, magazines, grips, and muzzle attachments. These are non-specific, so if a gun has an optic slot, any optic will work on it. These mods also have a rarity scale, and sometimes they affect your gun stats.